In mathematics, we have these trigonometric functions: sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent, secant, and cosecant. These are real functions which relate an angle of a right triangle to ratios of two sides. These are used in many aspects in real life, like calculating the height of tides in oceans, the periodic functions in sound and light waves, and even in measuring distance of nearby stars in astronomy. So in math, this is used to solve triangles. To solve a triangle means to find the length of all sides and the measure of all the angles. Any triangle with a right angle measuring 90 degrees is called a right triangle. The angles in a triangle sum up to 180 degrees. Let's start with the Trigoratious that can be mastered through Sohcahtoa, which means sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent, which is equal to opposite over adjacent. In addition, the cosecant, which is 1 over sine, or the reciprocal of sine, which is hypotenuse over opposite. Next, the secant, which is the reciprocal of cosine, that's hypotenuse over adjacent. And lastly, the cotangent, which is the reciprocal of tangent, adjacent over the opposite. In a right triangle, the longest side is the hypotenuse. The opposite of theta is called the opposite itself, and the other side is no other than the adjacent. Theta in math is a variable that represents a measure of an angle. In this example, find the measure of the hypotenuse. Now we can apply the Pythagorean Theorem with the formula c squared equals a squared plus b squared, where a and b are the sides and c is the hypotenuse. So c squared equals 3 squared plus 4 squared, and c squared equals 9 plus 16, which is 25. We get the square root of c and the square root of 25. So the length of the hypotenuse is 5. Now let's solve for the Six Trigly Ratios. First, the sine theta, the opposite over hypotenuse, so it's 4 over 5. Since 4 is the opposite of theta, and the other side is adjacent. Next, the cosine, the adjacent over the hypotenuse, 3 over 5. The tangent, opposite over adjacent, that's 4 over 3. Next is the cosecant, which is the reverse of sine, 5 over 4. Secant, the reverse of cosine, 5 over 3. Lastly, cotangent, the reverse of tangent, 3 over 4. Next example, how about when the hypotenuse is given, which is 6, and the opposite of theta is 4. So substitute to the Pythagorean Theorem, c squared equals a squared plus b squared. That's c squared equals a squared plus 4 squared. The square of 6 is 36, equals a squared plus the square of 4, that's 16. Transpose 16 to the left side so we can get the value of a. So 36 minus 16 is 20. Get the square root of a squared and the square root of 20. So the factors of 20 are a perfect square of 4 and a 5. Take the square root of 4, which is 2. So the answer is 2 square root of 5. Now solve for the Six Trigly Ratios. The sine, which is opposite over the hypotenuse, that's 4 over 6, and this can still be simplified. That's 2 over 3. The cosine, that's 2 square root of 5 over 6, and simplify 2 over 6, so that's 1 square root of 5 over 3, or that's square root of 5 over 3. The tangent, that's 4 over 2 square root of 5. So in fractions, it's improper to have a denominator with square roots and a negative exponent. So in eradicating square roots, you multiply the numerator and the denominator by the square root itself. So that's multiplied by square root of 5 over square root of 5. That's 4 square root of 5 over 2 square root of 25. The square root of 25 is 5, so multiply by the whole number. That's 2 times 5. So the answer is 4 square root of 5 over 10. Or we can still simplify 4 over 10. That's 2 square root of 5 over 5. Find the cosecant. That's the reciprocal of sine. That's 3 over 2. The secant, the reciprocal of cosine. That's 3 over square root of 5. So rationalize the radicals. Multiply by square root of 5 over square root of 5. That's 3 square root of 5 over 5. Then the cotangent. So our final answer in tangent is 2 square root of 5 over 5. So if we get the reciprocal, again the denominator is radical. So we take back the first answer, the original answer, which is 4 over 2 square root of 5. So reciprocal is 2 square root of 5 over 4. Or simplify 2 over 4. That's square root of 5 over 2. For fractions, you can check my previous video.